This guy in 1982, his name was Kurt Cobain, and he liked making music. He was with his mates and he made a band. And the guys were Chris Skolovic and Dave Pilkey. They got really big and they made a band, and that got really big. And then they started making music, and then Kurt got hit by a train. Chris went and did something. He was in Soundgarden for a bit, and he made Black Hole Sun. And then he left. And then Dave, he got real sad and shit, and he started making music. Like they thought he was fucking insane, so he went to an not insane asylum. He went to an insane asylum in Austin, Texas. And then he started writing books. He started writing children's books because he was a sick freak. And then he made Captain Underpants and ended up making like $1 billion. The second he got out, he ended up spending all of his money on Calypsos at his local CVS, and he went straight back. Meanwhile, in California, there was another guy called Dave Grohl, and he was addicted to ripping salvia bong rips. But then he was like, man, this is probably not very productive. So he decided to make an album. He recorded the guitar himself, because that was the only instrument he knew, nothing else. And he made an album and then put it up on his Bandcamp under the name Rad Salvia Fan 12. No one listened to it for like a week. And then one day this guy, John Silver, he heard it. And he's like, man, this band's fucking awesome. This band's sick, dude. I fucking love this band. And it turns out it wasn't a band, and it was like everything was like obviously MIDI. Everything was obviously MIDI recorded. But John Silver was a fucking idiot, and he didn't deserve his place at in the industry. He was only there because his dad like owned Atlantic Records or some shit. So yeah, Dave Grohl basically, he gets an email from this John Silver guy, and he's like, yo, dude, your shit's fucking awesome. Your stuff is so sick. It's so cool. Perform at Coachella in a week. I want you headlining. And then Dave Grohl was like, fuck yeah, dude, money. And then realized that he didn't have a band. He's like, fuck. Yeah, basically, he went on a fucking massive salvia binge. Went to Skid Row. On his like little push bike, he went to Skid Row, trying to find people for his band. After a little bit, he ended up getting his fucking bike stolen by a bunch of bodybuilders. And he's like, man, I'm going to have no other chance to get this done. I need to do this now. He didn't see it as a negative. He saw it as a sign. So he kept looking around, and he found 4 homeless dudes in a tent. They were all like hugging and shit, like for warmth, he thought, but like it was 104 degrees Celsius. So he decided, like, man, they're probably just really good friends. So he goes in and he asks him, he's like, hey, I need people for my band. The guy was like, yeah, all right, sure. And then the other guy was like, yeah, okay. And then all 4 of them were like super cool with it. They ended up walking back to Dave Grohl's place. He was living in his dad's shed at the time, just like ripping salvia and whatever. And he mentioned that he needed a new name for his band, and he was like just not sure what to do, because like apparently Rad Salvia Fan 12 wasn't really rolling off the tongue too well. So the homeless people explained that on Skid Row they were known as the Foo Fighters, because a lot of Mexican gangs would come up to them and try and steal their shit. So out of necessity, they would have to publicly humiliate and like mug and like beat the shit out of these Mexican gangsters. So for some reason, Dave Grohl really liked that. So he was like, yeah, cool. After a week of like just straight practicing, he kind of just realized, hey, these guys are all fucking heroin fiends. This is a problem. They don't know where they are, let alone what fucking instrument they're playing. So he was like, yeah, like I'm just gonna lip sync everything. I'm just gonna like play the whole track and have these guys like pretend they know what they're doing. It's the first time lip syncing was ever used. Fun fact. So then Coachella rolls up, and they were like, fuck, I'm mad nervous. I don't know what I'm doing properly. I've never done this before. I'm freaking the fuck out. And the other ones were fiending for heroin. So they get up, they're sweating for different reasons, and the whole crowd's just like losing their mind despite like never hearing of these guys before, because like hive mind. Like after all that, they get up, and the bass player hits the first note. He slams on his guitar. Dave Grohl presses play on his little iPod MP3, whatever, the little like iPod thing. And the crowd just loses their fucking mind, and the band's like, man, this guy's actually a fucking genius. This guy's awesome. This guy's the coolest. I have a newfound respect for you. Like they got like a whole standing ovation for like the whole performance, because there were no seats at the venue. And then from that moment, everybody loved the Foo Fighters. Everyone, and then they made songs.